I'm going to switch gears to a different topic. I'm going to talk about the PIC system. And first question is going to be three-prong. I have two questions, but the first one's three-prong. First one, how are you working to improve and update the PIC system, such as a web-based system, to perform background checks? And then, is the online system working? And should an online system help reduce the Pennsylvania State Police costs to operate that system? And then the follow-up to that would be, what other operational or technological changes are you considering for the system to improve those background checks?
Sir, thank you. So with regard to PICs, technological enhancements, we do have a web-based application. Several years ago, we rolled that out with FlexCheck. The vendor's a company called Tailored Solutions, and it allows dealers to access the system electronically. They can either come in electronically through the web, or they can come in through an IVR, an integrated voice response system. So we actually do have a web-based application, and that was designed to improve the efficacy at the dealer level. So a dealer can put checks into a queue, and they don't necessarily have to tie up a phone line. In addition, though, we're working right now, we worked for many years. Our mental health relief processes were not acknowledged by the federal government to be adequate. And it was largely semantics in terms of the legislation and regulatory processes surrounding PICs. We worked for many years to actually put ourselves in a posture that would have the feds acknowledge our relief process, and we were successful doing that last year. Now, that reaps a number of benefits, one of which is it opens up a second grant stream for funding for us. So in the past, we were limited to NCHIP grants, National Criminal History Improvement Program grants. With getting our federal process, or our mental health relief process acknowledged, if you will, we are now eligible for NARIP grants, which are NICS Act Record Improvement grants. We currently have an application with NARIP, and our intent is to, with the approval of the ATF, I believe we have a conference call next week with ATF, the 4473, which is the federal form, what that NARIP grant proposal would allow us to do is auto-populate that form 4473 from the current information that a dealer enters if they do electronic record of sale, or EROS. It would electronically populate the federal form 4473. We know that that's a functionality that the dealers have asked for. And in fact, some dealers have paid for independent systems to accomplish that. We're going to try to accomplish it on the front end and offer that to dealers. With regard to technological enhancements, it always morphs into the discussion on PICS downtime. So PICS downtime last year, and that's a little bit of a misnomer in the sense that when we talk about PICS, there's the FlexCheck database, which is PICS, and there's the integrated voice response. Beyond that, PICS is essentially a query system that reaches out to various databases to return information. So for example, we hit NICS, but we hit Pennsylvania PFAD, PFA database. So PICS is essentially a front-end process that utilizes a query, an import or export, to pull data back. If any one of those systems that we query goes down, and one of those systems being NICS, then PICS can't process. So when we talk about PICS being down, I think the salient point is, in many instances, it's not PICS per se. It's perhaps the Commonwealth Law Enforcement Assistance Network. It could be PennDOT, it could be JNet, or it could be a Verizon problem with phone lines. So when we look at improving the technology and improving PICS downtime, so last year our downtime was about 0.8%. We were up 99.2% of the time. That 0.8% was about 2,400 minutes of downtime. 600 minutes were attributable to NICS. But those systems that are out there, the clean system, for example, or JNet, or NICS, in fact, in and of itself, they're not all high availability systems. In order in the technology world to improve your availability and reduce your downtime, it's extraordinarily expensive.
Yeah, I just had about 30 seconds. Are we saving any costs, though? Is there any cost savings for us here in the Commonwealth by this increased technology?
The improved technology, essentially in terms of cost savings, it translates to operational costs for the dealers, but
not for
not for PSP.
Let me, and somebody might follow up with this, because I know there's a big discussion here in Harrisburg. Has there been any thought, consideration just to going to the NICS system, and why or why not?
Yeah, there's a whole host of benefits for PICS over NICS, we believe. I could cite the demographic checks. We initiate demographic checks using, for PFAD, for example, or for PennDOT, where we actually query PennDOT and bring back information. If you don't do that, what ends up happening is you miss name changes or marital name changes in the queries. You also potentially miss protection from abuse orders, 1,500 of which only we can query because they're in PFAD without demographic indicators. And in fact, the challenge process, which benefits the end user, the burden is on us in Pennsylvania. So if you want to challenge a denial, we do the work. We get the records, we evaluate them, we do the work. If you want to challenge a NICS denial, you have to get the records, which are sometimes really hard to get, depending upon what county court and how old the records might be. You provide them to NICS. So we're customer-centric. NICS can't be because of the breadth.
My time's up. I probably would have had a follow-up, but I thank you for your answers, and once again, thank you for being here and for your commitment to the people here in the Commonwealth.
Yes, sir.